Okay. Okay. Better. So sorry, I didn't notice. So I hope you guys followed me from where I started. Okay. So let me just recap from what I did. So today's lecture is today's lecture is on JavaScript basics, and then we are talking about variable constants, what are variables, then how you can declare a variable using const, var, and let. Then we will talk about variable naming rules, and then we'll talk about reserved words in JavaScript. Then we talk about programming case types. So how you can write different ways of writing variable in your programming language. That's where these programming case types come in. Then we'll talk about the JavaScript data type, and today we'll just talk about the string data type. So I defined what a variable is, and then um, yeah, variables are data value that can't exchange. Constants are values that stay the same every time a program is executed. Then variable can be declared using the var, let, or const. Then I said constant is const. This const is actually a special kind of variable that doesn't change even when it is declared. So I said variables can be declared with the var statement, and then variables that are declared with that statement, they can be redeclared and they can be reassigned. So uh, so what I was also saying again was go to repel.it. If you go to repl.it, when once you go there, you will land on this screen that shows you or you might not land on this screen, but you might land on the login screen, which or a create an account screen, which would require you to create an account. Then after creating an account, it will now land you here, like after you create an account and log in. So for now, we'll be using repel.it to run our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Or sorry, we are going to use it to run our JavaScript for now before we talk about using Node. Or we could actually even use Node here itself. So if I create Node here and I name this lecture 2, I create that repel. So I hope you guys are following. I hope you guys are following.
Yes, we are following.
Okay,
We are following,
so huh?
We are following.
Okay, so we would use repel.it for now to run our code. Then I'll walk you through later. I'll walk you through installing Node um on your laptop, on your PC, and then would also install VS Code. So a quick one about what VS Code is. So VS Code is a text editor. So you can use VS Code to edit your code offline, like what we are typing here, what we are doing here. You could also do it offline. So, but this is a more simpler way. Since we aren't installing anything, we can just use here repel.it to run our code and see the results fast without needing to set up anything. So back to the slide, I said variables can be declared with the var statements, and then variables that are declared with this can also be redeclared and they can be reassigned. So in simple terms, this is what we mean. When we are declaring a variable with the var keyword, we are saying, let's say var a is equals to maybe, let's say, hello. So this A here now becomes the variable name, while hello becomes the value of that variable, if you understand. So of course, if we run this program, it's not actually going to do anything except we print out what we put here, what we want to output. If we want to output this hello, for example, this is what we would do. Console.log, then we do A here. So if we run this, we see hello here. Then I guess if we run hello here, also brings out hello for us. So we could still work here. We could still work on our console. So if we say var a is equals to hello, for example, and after writing this, we press enter, it would actually give us undefined. But if we type a and press enter, we see hello. So anywhere we reference a in our program, what will replace that place of a would be this hello, which is the value of a, which is the variable. So I hope you understand to that point. I hope you understand to that point. So um so what did we say? We said variables can be declared with the var statements, then they can be redeclared and be reassigned. So which means I can still do var a here. So now I already declared variable a and I assigned it to a value, and I am redeclaring variable a. Now if we try to print a, we still see that variable a still has this other value, but we've redeclared it here again. We've said variable a. Now another thing is that we can reassign um the value of a to something else. So if we say variable, or we can say a should be equals to hi. So now if we click on a and press enter, we now see that a is no more equals to hello, but a is equals to hi. So we can redeclare with variable. So do you guys follow to that point?
Yes. We are following.
Okay, so you can redeclare a variable and then you can reassign that variable. So now that is one characteristics of VAR. You can redeclare it, you can reassign. So someone should explain to me what is the difference between redeclaring a variable and reassigning a variable. I want to hear it from anybody. If you want to talk, just raise your hands. Okay, I'm listening. I'm listening. So, or instead of that, put it on the comment section. So I'm watching. I'm waiting for who puts it on the comment section. So what's the difference between um redeclaring a variable and reassigning a variable? Okay, so Oluwatobi said, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. Okay, okay. So he said, um, Mpano says reassigning is giving a new value, yes, to the declared variable, while redeclaring is creating a new variable. Okay, okay, okay. Then Tapelo, if I'm correct, says reassigning a value means you're changing the value assigned to the variable. Then redeclaring means giving the variable a new name. Okay. When you reassign a variable, you are giving it another value. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So yeah, that's true. So I think redeclaring a variable is changing the variable name. Um, redeclaring is not okay. Redeclaring a variable is changing the variable name, but reassigning it is giving it a value. A- okay. But reassigning it is giving another value to the same variable. Redeclaring should be changing from var to probably let or const. Okay, okay. Um, I would say about the reassigning, I agree with most of what you guys said, but um, redeclaring a variable is, I don't know why Repel is actually um still giving undefined. Okay, giving the value of a to be hello here. It's supposed to be a is supposed to be undefined, and then a here is supposed to give a value of undefined as I've redeclared it. So I'm not sure why this is happening, but you guys, everybody is correct about um reassigning. So reassigning is giving it a different value. So changing the value is actually reassigning. So then let's continue from here. So I now said let's. So variables declared with let statements can't be, okay, can be reassigned, but can't be redeclared. So let's see that in action. So if we come back here and we say let b equals to let's say hello. So let b equals to hello, for example. Now we are not using var, we're using let. So let b equals to hello. And then we try to say let b again. It's going to give us a syntax error saying b has already been declared. So that is to tell you that let cannot be redeclared. So you cannot redeclare let. But we saw that we could actually redeclare var. So we had var of hello already, and we now said var is equals to a before. So this is allowed on variables. But on let, you cannot redeclare, but you can reassign. If I say b should be equal to maybe hello everyone, for example, that will work out. And if I try to print b, b ceases from being just hello to now being hello everyone. So that is the difference. That this is the difference between having a var and a let keyword. You've seen the difference. You can't redeclare here, but you can reassign on let. But definitely on var, okay, on var you can redeclare and you can reassign. Now, I hope everybody is following. Promise almost says he can't see my screen. You can't see my screen. Wow. So what do I do? Okay, try to clear my screen. So okay, you guys can see my screen. So I don't know why Promise can't see my screen. Okay, so let's continue. So let's go over to const. So variables declared with const statements cannot be reassigned and cannot be also redeclared. So which means if you declare a variable with the const statement, you can't reassign it and to another value, or you can't redeclare it. So let's check that out how it works here. So if we did something like let's say we wrote let's or not let now we say const c is equals to hello people. So if I do that, c is equals to hello people, and I now write maybe, let's see, for example, it will tell me that c has already been declared. And if I try to do const c equals maybe hi, it would also spit out another error that c has already been declared, and I can't even do const c anymore. So missing initializer in constant declaration, whatever that means. But this just means you can't redeclare a constant and you can't even reassign it to a value. So the value of C will always be hello people as long as this program runs. You can't change that. That will always be how it's going to be. You can't change it anymore. Okay, I hope you guys are following. Comment on the chat section if you're following. Okay. So, okay, you guys are following. Okay, nice, nice, nice. Okay, someone says, please can you explain reassign? So first, let's talk about assigning before we even talk about reassigning. So when you assign a variable, the name of a variable to a value, you're saying, okay, think of think of this line of code, or let me write it. Okay, think of this line of code. Const c is equals to hello people. Think about it as declaring a constant as, let's say, a carton, and then the carton has a label of c on it. You understand? And then hello people is the content of that carton. So if you have constant c as an empty carton, and then you now say hello people should be the what is inside that carton, when you can't re-declare it, means you can't remove the value of that hello people and put something else. That the value of that hello people for this variable c will always remain hello people for the rest of this program. But in let, you can reassign. So we saw here that first we declared an empty carton and we call that carton b, and that carton has inside it the value of hello. Then we saw that we could actually remove the value of that, like we can remove the value hello from that carton and put in hello everyone using the let keyword. But you can't do that using const. So when once you say const should be hello people, it will always remain hello people till that program runs and that program is off. So that's the difference between that's the difference between like assigning, reassigning, and then the difference between how let works, how var works, and how const works. So I hope you understand it now.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I hope we can proceed now. If you still have questions, you can ask. So what reassign is, I guess I've answered this question, so we could continue. Okay, yes. So I encourage you guys to try as much as possible to do these things on your own, because I won't actually spoon feed you. You would have to learn a lot of things on your own while I also teach you and also answer your questions from time to time. So there's a lot to learn, and you have to like put in much of your effort, learn and all those stuff. So you can try to go through the lecture at your leisure, and then if you have any questions after the class too, you can always come. My DM is open, and like there's no door on my DM. It's open on Slack. You can always inbox me, ask me any question at any time, and I would answer you. So that's by the way. So let's continue. So we've talked about const now. So let's continue. So now we have JavaScript naming rules. So now these are rules you use when you're naming your variables. So let's come back here. So C is the name of a variable, and the value of that variable is C. Anywhere I use C in this program, the value of what I'm getting back from that C is hello people. Anywhere I use it in this program, anywhere I use B in this program, if I just press B now, you see hello everyone. So now this B itself is the variable name, while the value of that variable is this hello everyone. It's like saying y is equals to 2 or y is equals to 5,000. So anywhere I use y, you guys would always know that that y is always 5,000. It's not going to be any other thing except I reassign the value of y from 5,000 to another value. You get? So that's the same way it works here. So anywhere I write a is always going to be high, and except I redeclare it. I hope you guys are following. So now let's continue with this. So so JavaScript variable naming rules. So first, variable names cannot contain spaces. That is one very important thing. Variable cannot contain spaces. So I can't do for example, I can't say let's good, or let's say let's greeting someone is equals to good morning. And do this. I can't do that. It will tell you unexpected identifier, because why this is happening is because of this space here. But if I did something like, if I remove this space, for example, and join the two things, greeting someone, join it together, and I say the value is good morning, and I press enter, it works. If I now write greeting someone, oh sorry, I wrote greeting. If I write greeting someone, for example, and I press enter, it gives me good morning. So you can't have spaces in your variable name. That's number one thing. Number two, variable names must begin with a letter, or it begins with an underscore, which is that flat, what you're seeing here, or it can begin with a dollar sign. So this, if you want to begin your variables, you can begin it with either a letter, an underscore, or a dollar sign. Apart from that, you can't. So let's continue. Variables can only contain letters, numbers, and underscore. So what I'm saying here is, in this one, is that you can use underscores, you can use letters, you can use dollar sign. But apart from these three, if you try to use any other thing, maybe use a hash symbol, or maybe you start your variable name by using comma, it won't work. So then variables can only contain letters or numbers or underscores or dollar sign. Then variable names are case sensitive. So which means you can't, if you declare a variable with lowercase letters, you can't now reference that variable using uppercase letters. I'll show you how that works. Then certain words may not be used as variable names because they are reserved words. I mentioned something about reserved words. So if you use a variable name that is a reserved word, then you have a problem. Your variable won't be assigned. It would actually show you an error. So I hope you understand this. Do I need to give examples for these variable names? Do I need to give more examples? Let's see. Are you guys following? Okay. Okay. So, okay, someone asked, what are reserved words? So, reserved words are special words that you can't use as a variable name. So, we are going to actually go to that very soon. So, there are some words you can't use as variable names. Why? Because the reserved words are just words that are used for maybe for an operation. For example, you can't name your variable if. You can't name your variable for. You understand? Because if and for are actually reserved words. They are used as the program sees if or for as a statement, not as a variable. So you can't assign if as a variable, for example. You can't do that. You can't do let me say const, or let me use if I say let and I say if should be equals to hello, it says unexpected token if, because it's not seeing if as a variable, it's seeing if as a statement, something that should do something that is an action. You get? So you can't use if as a um as a variable name. Okay. Okay, so I can continue. Nice. Okay. So let me go to the next slide. So I now said programming type, case types. So I'm sure you guys see this a lot. I know it might look strange to some people. So we have these different types of namings. So you can use camel case to name your variable. So first, let's talk about case types. So what are case types? Or programming case types. So programming case types are like fashion or a popular way of people naming their variables. So these are some few ways people actually use to name their variables. So people use camel case, and camel case means you having, if you have two words, and you want to use it as a variable, you have the first word coming as being a small letter, and then the rest of the maybe other words being capital letter. Then you have snake case, which is all the words being in small letters, but they are separated by underscores. Then you have caveat case, which is um, you using a hyphen to separate the words. Then you have Pascal case, which is having um, the words like the initials or the first letter of each word being in capital. Then you have flat case, of course. So flat case is just having everything in small letters. Then you now have this uppercase. So uppercase is in a way similar to snake case, except that all the words are in uppercase. So people that write PHP would be familiar with this. They use this to assign constants. So let's see how to actually use this. So now, don't worry about all this. What you would mostly use in JavaScript is camel case and snake case. So these two are accepted by JavaScript. So you have camel case, and then you have snake case. So let's see how to use that in REPL. So I if I want to if I want to assign a variable, I could do this. Okay, let's say let's let's so now, did you guys notice this? Greeting someone is in flat case. Greeting someone is in flat case. If let's go back now and check. So greeting someone, and I said some variables, see that everything is in um lowercase, and then this is this is a flat case. So this is some variables, and then this is all in like flat case, if you understand what I mean. So let's come back here. So this is an example of flat case type of variable. So if I want to write the same variable but using camel case, I could write greeting sum one, and I now say that is equals to, let's say maybe, or let me do this now. Okay, let me leave it at greeting someone. Maybe I greet another person, maybe good afternoon. So now if I want to get the value back of those stuff, and I do greeting someone, I see good morning. But if I do the same greeting and then I use capital S for someone, I see that it gives me good afternoon. So this is what JavaScript is saying when it says that you have that JavaScript is case sensitive. So this is totally different from this on JavaScript. These two are totally two different variables. So you have to be careful when you're naming variables. So if I do let's, then I write greeting underscore someone is equals to, let's say, good evening. Now, if I want to get that back, of course, I'll do greeting underscore. When once I put the underscore, it even gives me like, so if I want to complete it, I could just press tab and then I press enter. It gives me good evening. So JavaScript is seeing this as a different variable, this as a different variable, and this as a different variable. So you can use flat case, you can use um, camel case, and then you can use snake case to assign your variables in JavaScript. So your now another thing I need to say is your variable names should always make sense. You don't just assign variable names anyhow. Just let's make sure anytime you're using a variable name, at least let it make sense to, especially if you're writing like a code that someone else is going to read and probably use. Always make sure your variable name makes sense to the person. So I hope that is clear. So we okay, someone just posted reserve words. Yes, don't worry, we are going to go to reserve words very well, very well. We are going to talk about reserve words. Yes, always use consistent namings. Yeah. What so he said what's the difference? Someone said what's the difference between var and let? Okay. So var you can assign, you can reassign and you can redeclare. But on using let, you can only reassign. You can't redeclare a let variable. If we go back to that slide, we see that var can be redeclared and reassigned, but you can't do that on let. Let statements can only be reassigned, but you cannot redeclare them. I explained that before. So I hope you get the difference. Okay. So we see that camel case, snake case, and flat case. So now with kebab cases are used mostly on CSS. If you've written HTML, CSS, most times you're going to use kebab case um to call your class name or your ID. You mostly use this kebab. So you must not actually use all this. You can write all your variables just using only camel case. Camel, I think camel case is more popular than others, especially for JavaScript. I use camel case all the time. Every time I write variables, I always use camel case or I use flat case sometimes. Very rare flat case or snake case, but I use camel case more. So let's continue. So yeah, so I know someone posted reserved words. So yeah, so reserved words are just they are special characters you can't use as variables or yeah. So you can't use break or boolean or abstract or catch as a variable name because they are used somewhere else. They are used for something else. JavaScript sees them as statements, not just as ordinary variable names. It sees them as statements, so you can't use them. Just know you can't use any of these names. Delete, do double, abstract boolean. You can't use them as variable names. So let's continue. So yeah, JavaScript reserve words. JavaScript reserve words are words with special meaning. Therefore, means they can be used as variable names. I've made that clear. So let's go into strings. So of course, we've already started working with strings already. So for example, this good morning here is a string. Good afternoon here is a string. Good evening here is a string. So without me actually even talking about strings first, I want someone to on the comment section write like what do you think a string is? Like what do you feel a string is? So I'm watching the comment section. I'm waiting, or the chat section. I'm waiting for who is going to actually say something. So what do you think a string is? A string is a message that can be a number or word, okay, or word in quotation marks. Okay. So it's the content of a variable. Nope. So variables don't only take strings, they take other things. So a variable can take in um a boolean, it can take in number, it can take in an array, it can take in an object, it can take other things. So it's not the content of a variable. A variable can contain a lot of things. Oh wow, a string is a character. Uh, a string is a no. A string isn't a character. When you say character, what you're trying to say is a string should only be maybe A or B, just one character. Okay, someone says a string is a sequence of one or more characters that may consist of letters or symbols. Yeah. Then a string in JavaScript is a primitive okay. Strings in JavaScript are primitive data types and immutable, which means they are unchanging. Okay. Huh. Okay, this is nice. Then someone said a string in a layman's understanding is a value of a variable. Okay, so a variable can take a string. Yes, so you can assign a variable, the value of a variable to be a string. Okay, content of a variable that goes into quotation marks. Okay, yes. A variable name can be any data type, can take any data type. Yes, this is true. This is true. A variable name can take any data type. So this person said a string is a sequence of one or more characters that may consist of letters or symbols. Then what you didn't put here is yeah, it contains letters, numbers, or symbols, and those letters or symbols backticks. So we'll talk about that. So let's go back here. So is a JavaScript string is a zero or more, or is zero or more characters written inside quotes. So for example, we see this. So now notice what he said. A JavaScript string is zero or more characters written inside quotation marks. So it's zero. So which means you can have a string being maybe we write uh let's oh what's happening. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. I think it just hooked. So we can have maybe let's a equals to um this anytime we print a. Now this is a string but is an empty string, which means this string doesn't have any character in it. So it's possible to have this. So but this is empty. This is an empty string. So which means it doesn't have any value but it's still a string. So if we did I think type of, then we put a, we see that a is a string. So you can use this type of, you can use type of to check the type of the type of variable, like the data type for that particular variable. So if you're not sure, you declared a variable, you assigned it to a value, and then you're not sure of what data type it is, you can use type of. So if I say let's b equals to 7, for example, or 8, and I'll say type of B. For example, I see number. So number is another type of is another data type that is being used in JavaScript. So I hope you're still seeing my screen. Oh, okay. Someone say let's put emphasis between single quotes and double quotes. Yeah, definitely. So you could assign strings with either single quotes or double quotes. So I could do let's see equals to in single quotes, maybe how are you, single quotes, and if I check the type of C, it's still going to give me a string. So it's still going to give me a string, whether it's in double quotes or single quotes. And then I talked about backticks. I know you guys heard something like that. I said backticks. So you can assign strings using backticks. So if I said, so now let me try to redeclare, reassign C. So if I reassign C to, let's say I reassign C to saying I am okay, for example. Okay, I'm using, let me delete this. So this is how backticks look. So backticks are usually on HP laptops. They are usually under your escape um, button on your keyboard. So if you look at your escape, you look at the button under your escape and you press it, that would give you backticks. So this is called backticks actually. So if I write I am fine here, I see I am fine. If we check the type of C, it's still a string. And then if we check C now, C ceases from being how are you to I am fine. So this is me reassigning C with the value of I am fine. So C now ceases to become how are you. C is now I am fine. I hope that's clear. I hope you guys are following. Okay, nice, nice, nice. So yeah, okay, that's nice. So let's continue. Let's continue. So let's dig into um the string properties and methods. So um so let me talk a little bit about properties and methods. Although I'm not going to really put in objects here. If I know some of you guys should know maybe have worked with objects before, but let me try to differentiate properties and methods so you guys don't get confused. So let's use a human being for example. So you okay, let me not say you. Let's take a human being for example. Your name is your property. Your skin color is your property. Like that is what is peculiar to you. Your your height, your body type is a property. It's like what you own, what is your characteristics, that like that's your property. Then if we talk about methods using a human being, we of course we know methods you can run. So let's take run as a method. You can run, you can walk, you can talk, you can sit. So those methods is like things you can do, while properties is what is peculiar to you, what people can identify you with, for example. So that's the difference between string properties and methods. If I want to actually use objects to define the difference between a property and a method, you guys might probably get it maybe confused. You guys might get it confused, but don't worry. I will still revisit this topic when we are talking about object-oriented programming with JavaScript. But for now, just know that the property is something peculiar to you, and then method is something you can do. What you can do, for example. So it's the same thing on JavaScript. So string as a JavaScript data type has properties and has methods. So properties are what is peculiar to it. So if we check this string, for example, this is A to Z, and then if we check the length of this A to Z, the A to Z is is a string, of course. So if we check the length, we see that it gives us 26. So which means if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that till the end, we'll find out that there are 26 strings here, or there are 26 characters inside this string, or 26 values inside this string. I hope you guys are getting it. So that is peculiar to that string, this string named txt. It's this length is peculiar to it. So if we remove maybe some, if we assign this to another variable, for example, and we now check the length, it will definitely change because of the property. What's like the string, it will change to the new string you've reassigned it to. Then we are going to look at slice method too. So, but let's talk about what I just spoke about. So let's say, so now we can find out the length of a, for example. If we say a dot length, right? We say a dot length, we see that a dot length gives us 0. Why? Remember, a was empty, so which means a doesn't contain any character. So that's why it's giving us the length of 0. But if we check, so b is a number. So let me see if you can do that. B dot length. Okay, you can't do that because you can only check length for strings alone. You can't check the length for a number. So that's why when we wrote b dot length, it says undefined. So it's seeing that b is actually a number, not a string. So we can't find the length. But if we do c dot length, find out it is 8. So if we count fine, for example, I is 1, this single quotation mark is, or what they call it, single quotation mark is 2, 3, 4, F is 5, I is 6, N is 7, and E is 8. So this is something interesting. So you can use it to know the length. You can use this dot length to know the length of a string. How long is that string? Like, okay, how many characters are inside that string? Okay, someone said 26 characters. That's correct. So the other things we could do, so we can slice. So what does slice do? For example, let's pick. So now I hope we understand how length is being used.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we understand how length is being used, and these small things, like these simple things, are really important. You're going to use them in real life, I assure you. So let's continue. We have we have the slice method. Now, this is another difference. This is another major difference you would find between using a property and a method. When you're using a property, you don't put brackets after the the statement. So we have txt.length and we did not put any bracket here, but we have slice as a method. So since it's a method, it has this double bracket. It has this bracket here. So this bracket this bracket tells you that slice is a method. If slice didn't come with this bracket, then slice would be a property. But since it has this bracket here in front of it, it means it is a method. So, and okay, another thing what you're saying is anything you put into these brackets are called arguments. So this bracket here, this ones you're seeing here, has two arguments. The first argument is 11 and the second argument is 15. So now let's talk about slice. So slice extracts a part of a string and returns the extracted part in a new string. For example, if you say welcome to KodeCamp, and then you said you want to extract or you want to slice from position 11 to position 15. So here is position 11 and you start slicing from here and then you stop here. So what is going to return when you print out this part is going to be code. Then if you didn't, if now this is like saying this is where it is going to start slicing and this is where it is going to end the slicing. So if you look at this too, KodeCamp, welcome to KodeCamp, and then you just did slice of 11 alone, it will slice it from here to the end. So which means from here down will be the value of KodeCamp. Now let's try that and then I'll show you something. So let's go back to repair.it. We do let's hello code KodeCamp equals to, then I write in here and how do I use slice? So I now say hello KodeCamp dot slice. So it already shows us that slice is a function here, function slice. So when we put this here, see our string come out. So if we now say, if we want to slice from 1, we remove, have you noticed that W has gone? If we want to slice from 1, if we said we want to start slicing from 2, then W and E is gone. So if we want to slice, if we slice from 3, we see that as we are going, it is, as we are increasing it, it's removing from the beginning. So if I said I want to slice from 3 and I want to slice to maybe 5, for example, we see that it slices that CO and then it slices these two COs. So it slices here and then this is the position of 5. So when it slices, it removes this. So we said 11 to 15, right? So if we output this, we just see code. And of course, we can assign this a variable. So if we say let sliced code be equals to hello code slice and here all the stuff. If we do this slice code and say okay, and then we'll output slice code we say slice KodeCamp, we see that it's still equals to code. Of course, we could write that, we could write the same thing here. If we did let's slice, or let's KodeCamp equals to welcome to KodeCamp, and then we did let's KodeCamp sliced equals to KodeCamp dot slice dot slice, and then we now say from 11 to 15. And of course, if you run this, you want to see the results now. So a simple way of seeing the results would be to use the method console, or the function console.log. So functions and methods are actually the same thing. It's just that methods are used when you're working with objects. So methods and properties are actually used when you're working with objects. But functions are used when you're just using functions and variables like that. So if I console.log code sliced, and I run this code, we see code, right? We see code. If we remove that and we run it again, we see KodeCamp. But notice something. If we console.log out KodeCamp and see, this KodeCamp still remains welcome to KodeCamp. But this one we've sliced and with output is what we have here. So it means anytime when you're using this sliced, it doesn't affect this one. It just returns a new string with what you've sliced out, if that makes sense to you. So this is the original string. This is the string. This is the string you've sliced, and then that sliced string, you save it as a variable, and then you now console.log out that variable here. Does it make sense to you guys? Okay, someone said I should come again. Okay, so I guess let me space this out a bit. So let's look at this very well. Let's look at it very well. Welcome to KodeCamp. Welcome to KodeCamp is the value of this KodeCamp. Anywhere I reference this KodeCamp, it is always going to output welcome to KodeCamp. Anywhere I just, if I like here, I console.log out KodeCamp, it's going to tell me welcome to KodeCamp. Even if I console.log this 20 times, I run it, it is always going to tell me welcome to KodeCamp. Why? Because I've assigned it. I've assigned welcome to KodeCamp here. Like this is the name for this string. Now, if I slice this string and I didn't save it to a variable, then there will be no point of me actually, except I console.log out this alone. But what I'm doing here is it's like saying, bring me a sharp cutlass, cut out welcome to. This 11 means start from this position and cut out all these parts. Remain this one and this one. In fact, remain from this point to the end. I hope you're getting my point. Remain from here to this end. For even if there were other things here, just slice this one out and remain this part for me. Then this remaining part that I have now, I am now assigning. Now take this whole thing as just seeing CodeCamp alone. This slice, what this slice is returning is this CodeCamp. That is what this particular line of code is returning, or that is the value of the line of this code. So now I'm saving the value of the line of this code as CodeCamp sliced, and then I'm printing out that value, which is this CodeCamp here. So what you're seeing here as CodeCamp sliced is this CodeCamp here that has been sliced. Let me give you a minute. Just look at the code. Look at the code very well. So I hope you guys are following now. So this line of code, or this seventh line of code, the seventh line of code slices welcome to. Let me put this in quotation, and returns CodeCamp. Now, if you look very well, this is not being outputted here. I'm going to talk about this someday, but this is comments. Anything I write here, anything I write here, as far as I'm starting that line of code with um two forward slash two forward slash, it's not going to output it on the console when I run that code. So I could put in more comments. So then here is the code. This CodeCamp is just outputting out output. Okay. Okay. So you guys are observing the code. Cool. So if you guys don't understand the code, just Definitely. Tell me. We can talk about it in our DM. So you can DM me at any time. So let's continue. Okay. So let's rush over this. So let's talk about the replace method. So the replace method is a method that replaces a specified value with another value. For example, if I do welcome to Codehouse and I said Codehouse should be replaced with CodeCamp, we replace that method with using this replace, we actually replace that method with something or replace that string Codehouse with another string. So let me do that. Okay, let me use this. So I could do this. Um, cam dot replace. So I could replace code camp code camp with let's say Zoom, for example. And if I bring that out, if I say console.log code cam replaced, I run it. So we see now we don't see welcome to CodeCamp, we see welcome to Zoom when we console.log this. But of course, CodeCamp still remains CodeCamp if we did console.log CodeCamp. Sorry. Okay, CodeCamp still remains the same, but anytime we change something, we just need to assign it to a variable and then we print it out. So CodeCamp is what you're seeing here. That's this output, while this CodeCamp replaced is what you're seeing here. So I have to rush because we have to be on another class. So I have to round up. So I'll talk about this. Um, I think there are just three left, which I'll just touch fast. So we have to uppercase to lowercase, and we have trim. So if I want to convert welcome to CodeCamp to uppercase, I will just say the variable. So or you guys could do this. Okay. Okay, you guys could do this to lowercase. Then if we run that, okay, now we didn't console.log it out. So if I did console.log of CodeCamp replaced or CodeCamp now to lower case. So if I paste that here and I run it, what you're going to see is welcome to CodeCamp all in small letters. But if I said, now what is responsible for making that everything lowercase letters is because of this to lower. Now there's also another way you can still write all this. You can do this. You can say console.log codecamp dot to lower case. Okay, sorry, code camp with capital C. I'm using camel case. Welcome to code camp. So this is used to bring everything to lowercase. Then if I want to change everything to uppercase, I just change this from to lower to dots to uppercase. When I press run, we're going to see everything in uppercase. Welcome to Code Camp. Okay, someone asked which ID I'm using. So I'm using Repel. I'm using Repel. So if you don't have data to download, okay, yeah. So I would walk you through, for people that don't have VS Code and Node, I would walk you through how to install that on another class. But for now, you can just go to repel.com and then, or repel.it, anyone. Then you just go there, create an account either with GitHub or with your email, and then you once you log in, you would see. But let me do it now. So if I go to repel.it or someone say repel.com. Now it's repel.it, repl.it. After creating your account, you'll see this screen. You go to this screen and then you just click Node.js. Then to ask you what you want to name, what will be the title of that your Node.js script or code you want to write. So you can change this to whatever you want, whatever name you want, and you just click create repel. So I hope it's clear. It's not repel.com, it's repel.it. So I did to uppercase. So I just showed you how to use to uppercase to lowercase. Then you can where is it? Okay, so we've touched the replace method, we've touched to uppercase to lowercase. Okay, I skipped this. So we can use, let me bring it up for you guys to see. Oh, sorry, it's too close to this. Let me just edit that fast.
We've done replace.
So someone said something. So someone said something. Okay. So you can use replace with regular expressions. So regular expressions is a big topic on its own. It's a big topic on its own. We are going to do regular expressions in one of our classes. But for now, just know you can use regular expressions to search and replace a particular pattern in a string. You can use regular expressions to search a string and say, oh, in maybe in a paragraph, if you see a digit followed by a letter and a digit, then just replace that with maybe a string. So it's really powerful. In fact, on your VS Code, you have that. You can search for something using regex, regular expressions. So we are actually going to talk more on regular expressions in another class. Then this I at the side of regular expressions just means that um regular, like the replace shouldn't check if, okay, let's say this I makes the regular expression check for this Microsoft without paying attention to its case, whether it's uppercase or lowercase. So for now, since this I is here, this Microsoft in capital letter is equals to, or it's the same as this Microsoft because of this I here. But if this I wasn't here, then this would have been a different thing. It wouldn't change this from Microsoft to W3 schools. Oh, I did say W hash schools. I'm sorry about that. So this W3, I wanted to write a 3 here. So uh so that's it. So we could try that out if we go back to repeal.it. So this replace welcome to CodeCamp with so I could do now. Regular expressions don't start with quotes. They start with forward slash and end with forward slash. So if I do this, I and I write even if I write code in capital letters and I do zoom. So it still replaces CodeCamp with zoom. Replaces CodeCamp with zoom. So I hope you guys are following up to that extent. So I've already explained this to upper to lower. So exciting thing I could do. Okay. So let's just continue. So we've touched that. Then we now come over here. Then the last but not the least I'm going to show you is JavaScript trim method. So anytime you have space, like maybe you have a number of spaces, that is like that is called white spaces, like those spaces that are not being used, like those extra spaces that are not being used either here or here. So the trim method removes white space from both sides of a string. So whether you have white space here or you have white space here, if you want to trim, if you want to remove those white spaces, you use the trim method to remove those white spaces. And you, of course, you see the trim method doesn't take in any argument. So if we want to see how that works here, we can do this. Uh, if I remove this and I write welcome, spaces, welcome. So and I write trim. Oh, I run. So we are going to see welcome without the extra white spacing. So it's just going to be welcome without the extra white spacing. But so that's now I want to say this is not the only methods for JavaScript string type. There are a lot of other methods. In fact, if we wanted to cover more methods, we won't actually finish this class till maybe 6 or so. So there are more methods. So I would encourage you, go online, go search, read about other methods, other string methods, or other methods you can use to play around with your strings. You get, read on other methods, practice these methods I have shown you guys, because you're actually going to use them in real life. All you see, I'm a programmer, I'm a web developer, I write this, I write that, I do front end, I do back end. These are the things you're going to be doing. Most times a data can be sent to you from, okay, let's say from front end, for example. Someone fills a form and the person keeps extra space which um you don't want to store in your uh server, for example. So why would you want to store that? You would want to trim it. You would want to remove this white spacing, and of course you won't be there with the server and be waiting when once the request comes. You now go, you stop the request, you go and trim the text and manually save it to the server. You want your back end to be smart enough to trim this white space. So that's where this comes in. You can use this to actually trim the white space. So I hope you guys are following. Okay. Okay. Someone said I should explain uppercase. So uppercase, although someone has said something about it already, Oluwatobi has already said something about uppercase. So you use to uppercase. So let me just go over that again. So let me even do this. You could write this uh hello. Okay, let me do this. Let me write it here. Write hello guys. You could write hello guys, then you now write dot. So upper case. So it outputs, it first converts everything here to uppercase, then it outputs that to us. If you want to do it here before clicking run so that you can run it, you can simply type can do. So now console.log is a method you use to output what you want to see. So if I say console.log and I say hello guys dot to upper case and I run this code, it will actually output hello guys in uppercase. I hope you guys are following. Okay. Ajiba Matthew said he's following. Okay. Ope Olowa said he's following or he or she is following. Please, I don't know your genders. If I mistaken you for a she when you're a he or something, I'm sorry. So okay, a lot of people are saying they are following. So then um apart from that, so thank you. That's all for today. So I hope you understood what I've taught so far. If you have any question, if you're shy asking it here, you can actually come to my DM and ask, or you can ask it on the group, on the NodeJs beginner group. You can ask your question there and I'll answer you. And you can ask it in my DM. You know, even if you see me on the road, you can stop me and ask me, Sha. That's if you actually know where I am. But you can definitely ask me. You can ask me questions anytime. So, is there any question for today? So I would encourage you guys go online, dig it, research. In fact, programming is more of research. So you research, you encounter a bug, maybe you try to run something and then you don't understand how it's running or something. You can reach out to me and then we definitely try to solve it. I'll show you what you're supposed to do, how to run the code, and all this stuff. If you have any issue, yes, more of practice. So, uh, people that maybe if you write a line of code today, so there's this thing I want to say too. Don't It's better you do 2 hours of code every day for 7 days than doing 7 hours of code or 7 hours of code one day. Like for example, maybe you just choose Saturday and say, oh, Saturday I'm going to do 7 hours of code, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday you don't do any coding, and then on Saturday you now do that whole 7 hours. No. Instead of that, a better thing would be to do 1 hour of code, 1 hour of coding every day for that 7 days, or 2 hours of coding every day for that 7 days. And then some people would also say, I don't have laptop, oh, um, maybe my laptop is faulty or something. You can also code from your phone. So there is this app named Temox. So I have just written the name um on the chat section. So Temox is an app that you can use to um you can use it to download Node.js on your phone and run Node.js, run all these codes I'm running on Repel on your phone. Like you can run them. Then of course you will need a code editor. You will need something like maybe a code editor where you can actually write those codes before you now go to Temox to run them. So I would recommend a code. Oh, a code is also Android. You can use this to um as a code editor. So this is similar to using VS Code on your laptop, while Temox is similar to using your terminal on command prompt. So this is what terminal looks like for people that have not seen it before. This is what terminal looks like. You have my name, and then you have a cursor waiting for you to type. So that's all for today. I hope you've learned a lot of things. Rather than DMing me, why, if you have any question, post it on the channel, because I feel there are other people that might also, let's say, probably encounter that maybe your question. I don't like what I'm preventing is like 5 people asking me the same question, exactly the same question. So if you post it on the group, if one person posts a question on the group and I answer it, and maybe someone else wanted to ask that same question, the person will just simply learn from the person's question, the person that has already posted on the group and have answered. Okay, so thank you very much for staying attentive and paying attention. I hope you've learned one or two things. All right, so thank you. See you next Tuesday around 1 o'clock. All right, bye bye.